Before I say anything else, I need you to stop, just for a moment, because what I'm about to share, it took me decades of practicing medicine, studying thousands of patient cases, and digging through research that most physicians never read to finally understand. And it changed everything about how I think about aging. Here's the truth. Right now, at this very moment, roughly 80% of Americans over the age of 50 are deficient in one single mineral. Not a drug, not something exotic. A mineral that your body uses in over 380 biochemical reactions every single day. Your heart depends on it. Your brain needs it. Your muscles cannot relax without it. Your sleep is controlled by it. And your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every cell of your body, cannot produce energy without it. That mineral is magnesium. And here's the shocking part. Most people who try magnesium try it, give up, and decide it doesn't work for them. But the problem was never magnesium. The problem was how they were using it. There is one critical mistake, number one mistake, that almost everyone makes with magnesium, and it is silently robbing millions of people of the health they deserve. We are going to reveal that mistake today, along with 4 others that are setting you back without you even knowing it. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand your body in a way your own doctor may never have explained. Let's begin. I want to speak directly to you. If you are over 60, maybe 65 or 70, and you wake up every morning feeling like your body is fighting against you, stiff joints, aching muscles, a fatigue that sleep cannot fix, leg cramps that jolt you awake at 2 a.m., a mind that feels foggy, slow, like it's working through thick mud. If any of that sounds like your life right now, I want you to know something. This is not simply aging, and it is not your fault. What is happening inside your body is far more specific than getting old, and far more fixable than anyone has told you. Right now, drop a comment below. Tell me your age and your number 1 symptom, whether that's pain, sleep, fatigue, memory, or something else entirely. I read every comment, and I want you to feel seen today, because this video was made for you. Now, let's count down the 5 biggest magnesium mistakes. We are building toward the number 1 mistake that sits above all the others, the one that changes everything. Coming in at number 5, and this one surprises almost everyone. For decades, doctors and health experts told older adults, especially women, to take calcium. For bones, for osteoporosis, for fractures. Calcium, calcium, calcium. And millions of people did exactly what they were told. But here is what they were never told. Calcium and magnesium are locked in a delicate biological dance. And if you feed one without the other, you create serious problems. Here's the mechanism, and it is important. Calcium causes your muscles to contract. Magnesium causes your muscles to relax. That is not a metaphor. That is literal physiology. It is happening in every muscle fiber in your body right now, including your heart muscle and the walls of your blood vessels. When you flood your body with calcium and you don't have enough magnesium to balance it, your blood vessels stay in a state of contraction, tension, tightness. Researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health found that people who supplemented calcium without adequate magnesium had significantly higher rates of arterial calcification, where calcium deposits harden the walls of arteries, making them stiff and narrow. Not softer bones, stiffer arteries. A meta-analysis in the British Medical Journal, following over 400,000 participants, raised serious concerns about isolated calcium supplementation without balancing magnesium and vitamin K2. And yet, most calcium supplements on pharmacy shelves today say nothing about magnesium. Most people completely miss this. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 71, a retired school teacher from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 32 years in the classroom, dedicated her life to children. She had been taking calcium supplements faithfully for 12 years, exactly as her doctor prescribed after a bone density scan. But over those 12 years, she developed crushing leg cramps that woke her from sleep, persistent tension headaches, blood pressure creeping upward despite 3 different medications. Nobody connected the dots. When her magnesium was finally tested, using the right test, which I'll explain shortly, she was severely deficient. The calcium she'd been taking was actively competing with magnesium for absorption, and the calcium was winning. When she began a proper magnesium protocol, her leg cramps disappeared in 3 weeks. Sleep improved in a month. Blood pressure normalized over 3 months. 32 years of teaching. And no one ever taught her this. Practical application. What to do? Space calcium and magnesium 2 to 4 hours apart. They compete for the same gut transport proteins. Aim for a 1.1 ratio of calcium to magnesium if you're already getting calcium from food. Add vitamin K2, MK7 form, 100 to 200 micrograms daily with a fat-containing meal. K2 directs calcium into your bones and away from your arteries. Calcium, magnesium, and K2 are a system, not 3 separate decisions. Number 4 gets even more fascinating. Walk into any pharmacy, any grocery store, any big box retailer, and almost every magnesium supplement on that shelf contains the same thing, magnesium oxide. It's cheap to produce. It shows a high number on the label, 500 mg, so it looks impressive. But here is what they don't print on the bottle. Magnesium oxide has a bioavailability of approximately 4%. 4%. A study in the journal Magnesium Research tested multiple forms and found oxide had the lowest absorption of any commercially available type. Most of it passes through your gut and exits your body. The one thing it does reliably is loosen your stool, which is why it's sold as a laxative. That is not what you need. But here's where it gets truly fascinating, because different forms of magnesium target different systems in your body. Magnesium glycinate, bound to the amino acid glycine, which is itself calming, has absorption rates up to 80%. This is the gold standard for sleep, anxiety, and muscle relaxation. If you struggle with sleep, start here. Magnesium malate, bound to malic acid, a key player in your mitochondria's energy production cycle. Research published in the Journal of Nutritional Medicine showed significant improvement in energy and muscle pain. If fatigue and stiffness are your primary symptoms, malate is your answer. Magnesium L-threonate, developed by researchers at MIT. Its unique superpower? It can cross the blood-brain barrier. A landmark study published in Neuron found it increased brain magnesium levels by 15% and improved both short-term and long-term memory in aging subjects. If brain fog and memory are your concern, this is the form you want. Magnesium taurate, paired with taurine, which supports heart rhythm and blood pressure. Research in the Journal of Cardiovascular Pharmacology found taurine had significant antiarrhythmic effects. For anyone with heart concerns or hypertension, taurate belongs in your protocol. The MIR1 rule: avoid magnesium oxide for therapeutic use. It is cheap for a reason. Start with glycinate or malate, 300 to 400 mg of elemental magnesium in the evening. If you tried magnesium before and felt nothing, there is a very good chance it was the form, not the mineral. Give magnesium the right form, the right timing, the right conditions, and you may be shocked by what changes. Number 3. And this one involves something your doctor almost certainly measures, but may not fully understand: vitamin D. You've heard about vitamin D research from Harvard, Johns Hopkins, the Mayo Clinic, all confirming its critical role in immune function, bone health, heart protection, and mental health. Doctors began testing vitamin D levels. Millions were found deficient. Supplements were recommended. Problem solved, right? Not quite. Because here is the hidden connection almost nobody talks about. Vitamin D cannot be activated in your body without magnesium. The conversion of vitamin D into its biologically active form, called calcitriol, requires multiple magnesium-dependent enzyme steps. Without enough magnesium, you can take vitamin D every single day, and it will not work properly. A landmark study in the Journal of the American Osteopathic Association stated clearly, magnesium is essential for vitamin D metabolism. People with low magnesium had impaired vitamin D activation, even when their blood levels looked normal on standard tests. Normal on the test. Not working in the body. And here is the other side of this that researchers only recently confirmed. When you take high-dose vitamin D supplements, which many older adults do, it actively burns through your magnesium reserves. Because the activation process consumes magnesium, so you take more D, your magnesium drops further. The D doesn't activate. You wonder why you still feel exhausted. The cycle continues. Researchers at the Grassroots Health Nutrient Research Institute, studying over 3,000 participants, found that people who took both vitamin D and magnesium together achieved optimal vitamin D levels at significantly lower doses than those taking D alone. Fix the magnesium, and the vitamin D you're already taking finally starts working. Robert is 68, a retired civil engineer from Portland, Oregon. Meticulous, methodical, a man who researched every health decision carefully. For 3 years, Robert took 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 every day. His doctor had confirmed severe deficiency and kept increasing his dose when levels barely moved. Meanwhile, Robert was developing new symptoms: worsening sleep, a persistent low-level anxiety he'd never had before, muscle twitches, and that unsettling jump of a leg or arm just as he drifted off at night. Cardiologists found nothing cardiac, neurologists found nothing definitive. Nobody tested his magnesium. When a functional medicine practitioner finally ordered an RBC magnesium test, the right test, measuring magnesium inside cells, Robert was severely depleted. 3 years of high-dose vitamin D had been silently burning through his reserves. 6 weeks after starting magnesium glycinate at bedtime, the muscle twitches stopped, sleep improved dramatically. And when his vitamin D was retested, at a lower dose than before, his levels finally reached optimal range. The magnesium unlocked 3 years of vitamin D he'd been taking. If you take vitamin D3, pair it with magnesium and K2, always. These three work as a system. Ask your doctor for an RBC magnesium test, not just serum magnesium. Only about 1% of your body's magnesium is in the blood. Serum can look normal while your cells are depleted. Optimal RBC magnesium 5.6 to 6.8 mg. If you've never had this test, you've never truly known your magnesium status. Number 2. And this mistake is perfectly invisible, which is exactly why so many people make it, even health-conscious people who are doing everything else right. It is about timing and about what is silently blocking magnesium from entering your cells. Let's start with the blockers. Alcohol, even moderate regular consumption, a glass of wine most evenings, significantly increases urinary excretion of magnesium. Studies in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed alcohol directly impairs magnesium reabsorption in the kidneys. Every drink costs you mineral reserves, high sugar and refined carbohydrates. Every time blood sugar spikes, your kidneys excrete more magnesium. Research from the University of Virginia found that elevated glucose levels significantly increased urinary magnesium loss. A standard Western diet causes multiple blood sugar spikes daily, meaning multiple magnesium losses daily. Proton pump inhibitors, drugs like omeprazole and pantoprazole, taken by millions of older adults for heartburn. These drugs reduce stomach acid, and stomach acid is essential for magnesium absorption. In 2011, the FDA issued a safety alert stating long-term PPI use was associated with significantly low magnesium levels. Many people have been on these drugs for years and were never warned. Diuretics, water pills used for blood pressure and heart conditions. Every time they make you urinate more frequently, magnesium exits with the fluid. Most people completely miss this connection. But here's where it gets truly fascinating, because even people avoiding all those blockers are still making a critical timing error. Most people take magnesium in the morning. That is the wrong time. Magnesium's most powerful effects are calming. It activates GABA receptors, the same receptors targeted by anti-anxiety medications. It lowers cortisol. It quiets the nervous system. Taking it in the morning means getting calming effects when you need to be alert and focused. A study in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences found that nighttime magnesium supplementation in older adults improves sleep onset, sleep efficiency, and early morning awakening by measurable significant margins. The mechanism: magnesium regulates the pineal gland, the tiny brain structure that produces melatonin. Without enough magnesium, your pineal gland underperforms, your melatonin suffers, your sleep suffers, and during deep sleep, where growth hormone surges and cellular repair peaks, magnesium is actively supporting the entire process. Take magnesium at night, always, and split your dose. Rather than 400 ml all at once, take 200 ml with dinner and 200 ml before bed. Your gut can only absorb so much at once. Splitting the dose dramatically increases what reaches your cells. Always take it with food to avoid digestive discomfort. Morning magnesium is better than no magnesium. But nighttime magnesium is better than morning magnesium. Every single time. The number one magnesium mistake that everyone makes. Not some people, not most people, almost everyone. Here it is. Treating magnesium like a casual supplement, instead of treating magnesium deficiency like the serious medical condition it actually is. Let me explain exactly what I mean. When most people think about magnesium, they think, maybe I'll try it. I'll grab a bottle, take it for a couple weeks, see if I notice anything. And that thinking, that casual experimental approach, is the mistake. Because magnesium deficiency is not a lifestyle preference. It is not a minor nutritional gap. It is a systemic medical condition that silently drives some of the most serious health problems of aging. Let me show you what the research actually says. A study in the Journal of Intensive Care Medicine found that low magnesium was associated with significantly higher mortality rates in hospitalized patients. Research published in the American Journal of Epidemiology, following over 14,000 participants for 12 years, found that adults with the lowest magnesium intake had a 38% greater risk of sudden cardiac death. 38%. A large study in diabetes care found that adults with the highest magnesium intake were 47% less likely to develop type 2 diabetes than those with the lowest intake. And research from the European Journal of Neurology found that magnesium supplementation reduced migraine headache frequency by over 40% in people who had been prescribed powerful neurological medications for years. This is not a wellness trend. This is not a footnote in alternative medicine. This is peer-reviewed science in mainstream journals. Decades of evidence pointing to one mineral that most physicians still barely discuss. And the reason is simple and uncomfortable. Treating a magnesium deficiency costs almost nothing. A quality bottle of magnesium glycinate is $15 to $25. Testing RBC magnesium is $30 to $60. The medications prescribed instead for the sleep, the blood pressure, the anxiety, the muscle cramps, the fatigue can cost hundreds of dollars a month. And they treat the symptoms, while the deficiency continues. silently, underneath. Here is what casual magnesium use looks like in real life. You feel tired, you assume it's age, you have leg cramps. Someone says eat more bananas. You can't sleep. You're offered a sleeping pill. Your blood pressure rises. You're given a medication that depletes your magnesium further. Your mind feels foggy. You're told it's normal. At no point does anyone say, let us check your magnesium. Let us test it properly. Let us treat this like what it is. That is the failure, and you deserve better. Here is what treating magnesium deficiency like a real medical condition actually looks like. Step 1, test properly. Ask your doctor for an RBC magnesium test. Optimal levels are 5.6 to 6.8 mg/dl. Below 5.6 is meaningful deficiency. Below 5.0 is severe. Step 2, choose the right form based on your symptoms. Sleep and anxiety, magnesium glycinate, 300-400 mg elemental at bedtime. Fatigue and muscle pain, magnesium malate, 300-400 mg split between dinner and bedtime. Brain fog and memory, magnesium L-threonate, magtine, 1,500-2,000 mg of the compound. Heart health and blood pressure, magnesium taurate, 200-400 mg with dinner. Step 3, eliminate the blockers. Reduce alcohol. Reduce refined sugars. Discuss PPI medications with your doctor. If you're on diuretics, actively monitor your magnesium. Step 4, build the system. Pair magnesium with vitamin D3 and K2. Balance calcium carefully. Eat magnesium-rich whole foods daily. Pumpkin seeds, avocado, dark chocolate at 85% or higher, almonds, black beans, dark leafy greens. Step 5, commit for the long term. And this is where most people fail. Research shows it can take 3 to 6 months of consistent supplementation to fully replenish cellular magnesium stores. 3 to 6 months. If you took magnesium for 2 weeks and gave up, you never gave your body the chance to heal. Commitment is the medicine. And what happened next shocked even researchers, because when older adults committed to a proper magnesium protocol for 6 months, the results were not modest. A study published in Nutrients showed improvements across every system measured. Sleep quality up by 43%. Inflammatory markers, CRP and IL-6 significantly reduced. Blood pressure lowered. Cognitive scores improved. Muscle strength increased. In people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, the body doesn't stop listening just because it's older. It just needs the right input. I've spent a long time in medicine, and one of the things I've learned, and maybe the most important thing, is this. The questions that matter most are often the simplest ones. What does your body actually need? Not what can we suppress? Not what can we numb? Not what can we manage indefinitely? What does it need? And so often, frustratingly often, also, the answer is simpler than we were trained to look for. I think about Margaret, the retired school teacher with 12 years of calcium and no one ever thought to check her magnesium. I think about Robert, 3 years of vitamin D going nowhere because no one knew to look at what was blocking it. And I think about you, wherever you are, whatever you're dealing with. If you've been waking up in pain, dragging through tired days, lying awake at 2 a.m., wondering if this is simply what life feels like now, I want you to hear me clearly. This is not inevitable. Your biology is still responsive, still capable, still listening. You are not broken, you are depleted, and those are two very different things. Aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean depth. Wisdom, a body that has carried you through decades and that with the right support can carry you further still. With less pain, more energy, clearer thinking, deeper sleep, the vitality to be fully present for the people you love. That is not a fantasy, that is biology. And tonight, it can begin. Before you go, 3 things. First, drop a comment right now. Tell me your age and the one symptom you most want to improve. Sleep, pain, energy, memory, whatever it is. I read every single comment. Your story matters here. Second, if this video gave you something real, something your doctor has never told you, please hit subscribe. Every week, I bring you the science that matters, the mechanisms behind the mysteries. Third, which of these 5 mistakes hit closest to home? Which one are you going to fix first? Tell me below. I'll see you in the next video. Stay curious, stay committed, and take extraordinary care of that body of yours.